Yes, hello everybody. My name is Peter Pichler. I'm the principal and founder, together with my wife Silvana Ordinas, of Peter Pichler Architecture. We're a very young studio in Milano. Our office was founded about 3 years ago. And we were, since the beginning, just a very quick introduction, lucky to win some national and international competitions. So we're currently having some work in the Middle East. We just finished a hotel in the north of Italy that was as well a competition. Another project in Holland, down on the bottom right. A few other projects of hotels, project that we did for the Salone del Mobile last year, House in Motion, and another project where we are finalists in an international competition in Abu Dhabi. So today I want to talk about a project which is a very strong, I think, theme, or is very related to our concept in the office of vernacular architecture. So this is just a slide of a show of Bernard Rudowski in the 60s, a show that was called Architecture Without Architects, and he really analyzed vernacular structures, how people used materials, how people used different ways to generate architecture with the tools they had at that time. And it was very strong related to culture and the social life. Adolf Loos, one of my, let's say, favorite architects as well, talking about vernacular architecture, talking about look how the farmers, a very important quote that he did, or citation was, he was talking about look how the farmers are building. If you can do it better, otherwise relate to the culture and relate to tradition as well. So the 70s, 80s, of course, we have like these buildings that are not related to context, they're not related to any geographic or any country, any geographic position, any kind of engines without any respecting any tradition, any culture. So this is actually what we're interested in the office. I will talk now about the project which is called Oberholz Mountain Hut. And it's a project which is very close to the place where I come from, Bolzano. It's in the north of Italy. And this place, or the competition we were winning in 2015, was a competition about 20 minutes from Bolzano. And actually the organizer of the competitions, they're the owners of the mountain area, all the ski lifts in the area. So our site was basically on 2,000 meters above the Latimar Mountains that we can see here on the right image as well. I was talking before about, of course, the importance to analyze structure and tradition in place. So when we came to see the site the first time, what we immediately recognized, of course, is the amazing landscape in that area that, of course, I grew up there, so I know it very well. And the three main mountains that we can see on the image on the right side. And at the same time, what we found very close to the construction site, the image on the left, is an old structure that apparently was there, the client told us, since the World War. And it's a very typical structure in the area. First of all, it's made of wood. It has a sloped roof, so it's a really kind of, I think, a vernacular element in this region. So basically, we always start every project with a kind of research. Mostly our research looks like this then. So we analyze local structures, we analyze tradition, and then we try to do something with these elements, with this tradition, and try to maybe have a contemporary answer or bring these elements in a contemporary context. I also think that most of our competitions we are winning with very simple sketches. So this was our competition sketch, where we had, where our idea was to create a kind of structure that is totally related to nature, that is almost like a fallen tree that branches and is looking towards the main three mountains of the area. So very simple sketch in the end. This was our competition entry. So you see this kind of sloped roof. Since the beginning for us was clear that we wanted to do a wood structure in this case. You see on the image down, this is the existing station, so you can go up here by the lift. This was existing. This is our new hut proposal. It's actually what you can see here is basically the ski slope where you can go down, but of course the place is also very famous in summer because you can go there hiking. So this was our sketch. Again, just a side plan. We had this terrace in front, and you see these kind of 3 branches that are coming out of the mountain. So this is the construction already. We had a little bit of discussion with our clients because there are like 7, 8 people in the jury. So we had like this kind of discussion how to rotate the entire structure, because we are here on 2,000 meters, sorry, and we have this kind of, it was a kind of lot of fog always in the morning, but there is another big mountain here which is hidden right now. And these are our 1, 2, 3 related mountains, but we had this big discussion how to rotate this entire structure. In the end, we agreed that this should be the final position. So you see this kind of architecture that should be really integrated in nature. You see this is an image from the winter. So you see outside this very typical structure. You see the sloped roofs. You see this wood structure, always in relation to the context, in relation to tradition. And when it comes to the interiors, you see this kind of what we call about as a little bit new, to bring these elements in a contemporary interpretation. There is a big, there is a space which is called Stube in the northern region of Alto Adige. And what we try to do is a kind of contemporary interpretation of the Stube. So you have basically these 3 pockets that give you intimacy in the structure. And you have this kind of curvilinear structure that at the same time becomes, from a roof, becomes a wall and divides the spaces. So this is the plan, which is a very important element for us. You see here everything, or you see this line, you see the concrete line or the concrete wall here that I just showed. So this concrete wall is the same time, this curved concrete wall is at the same time dividing the space from public and dividing the private space, or let's say the public space, which is the restaurant and the lounge area, versus the more private spaces like the kitchen, storages. And this line is at the same time defining exactly the space above ground and underground. This is just the underground spaces where you have some restrooms and some technical spaces. You see a section here with the existing lift station next to it, these 3 eyes that are coming out of the mountain. Another thing was, of course, construction, because the whole hut is on 2,000 meters. So we were at the beginning thinking, how do we even construct this project? So there were some discussion of using a helicopter or not. So where we said, okay, it costs too much. So in the end, we decided to build a street that follows up. And this is at the same time a street that you can hike up now to the hut. These are some construction photos. The only element of steel in this whole project is like one, and the second one, you don't see it here, like this and this beam. The rest is 100% wood structure. For us, this wood structure was very important. Like with this rib structure, it defines the space, but at the same time, it's real. So structure for us is a very important element. For us, is beauty. Structure is beauty. So you can really touch the structure. This is a kind of shot of course, some parametric software that we try to generate. This hut also saves a lot of cost. So what you see here is a kind of detail of the mock-up. For us was very important to collaborate with engineers since the beginning of every project. So in this case, for us, it was a very important detail that you see the structure that is fading towards 0 here, where we then have the benches in this area. And at the same time, it's also a way to really, research with structure in this project. So another few construction images here, the final project. We used like a large facade for the exterior, and there's also a tradition with that years ago they burnt wood to make it more resistant against like water, for example. So we tried a similar technique, a contemporary technique with the facade as well. Also the furniture we totally designed. We have our office here in Milano, so a lot of companies were coming to us and wanted to sell us furniture for their hut, but then in the end, which you will see I think in the next images here, all the furniture was designed by us together with a local carpenter. So basically, we didn't want to create this kind of over-designed furniture, so we were just collaborating with the local carpenter to modify, let's say, a very typical chair of the area. And yeah, this is the launch area, so you see it here. This is actually a photo where we went to the carpenter there. He had also some weird chairs, maybe you see it a bit in the background, but we wanted to work with him because he was very enthusiastic and liked the project, so he said, okay, let's develop something together. We designed also the benches outside of the terrace. You see here this detail of the structure with the frame, and I think I should stop now. This is just the sink, an element, and a few more photos, a few details of this gradually fading structure. And this is the bar. And here again, you see that the landscape is probably the most important element or the most important protagonista of this project. And with this, I want to close. Thank you very much.